Opposition leader demands explanation over COVID-19 vaccine spending. Peter HEADLEY family seeks justice. Fisherman fined for smuggling chicken. In the region, U.S. unveils strategy to confront domestic terror threats. And internationally, Mali unrest. Displaced people afraid to go back home. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. After an international media investigation that linked two men to an alleged vaccine racket targeting poorer countries, opposition leader Joseph Harman is demanding that the government come clean about its alleged relationship with a member of the United Arab Emirates ruling family, Sheikh Ahmad Dulmuk Muktoum, and his associate Omar Farouk Zahur.
Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony disclosed that the PPP administration had procured 200,000 doses of the Sputnik 5 COVID-19 vaccines at a cost of 957 million Ghana dollars. This procurement was from one Sheikh Ahmad Dalmouk Al Muktoum of the United Arab Emirates. This sum was not budgeted for, neither did it receive the prior approval of the National Assembly, but the PPP went ahead and spent it.
Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony has confirmed that Guyana has been purchasing the vaccines through the Sheikh, but explained that the arrangement was put in place since it was difficult to get the vaccines directly from the supplier in Russia. A newspaper in Norway highlighted the overpriced vaccine scandal and named Guyana as one of the countries caught up in the scandal.
It is evident that the PPP did not exercise due diligence in its attempt to purchase vaccines, and this executive recklessness now exposes a number of issues.
Harman accused the PPP of being guilty and involved in a corrupt transaction that was deliberately sewn together to defraud the state and benefit a few people.
The installed PPP regime knowingly participated in an international vaccine racket. That the PPP knowingly engaged in a price gouging transaction, which it had to have known was exploitative, and that they overpaid over 600 million Guyana dollars, Guyanese taxpayers' money, for the Sputnik vaccine.
Harman emphasized that President Ali should provide Guyanese with a full explanation of the, quote, vaccine racket, end quote, and he is demanding that he do so as soon as possible. A fisherman was fined for illegally smuggling chickens. Here is more from Esther Sobers.
Appearing at the Georgetown Magistrate Court on Tuesday was Ishwari Jeffrey, also known as Wari, who was found guilty of smuggling chickens into Guyana and evading restrictions on payments of duties to the Guyana Revenue Authority. Jeffrey, a fisherman who resides in Annandale, East Coast, Narara, was found guilty by Magistrate Annette Singh, who sentenced him to 1 month in prison and a fine of $235,000. According to the facts of the case, in October 2020, Jeffrey was stopped on Mandela Avenue in Georgetown near the National Cultural Center with 28 bags of foreign chicken leg quarters in motor vehicle GNN 5710. GRA had intercepted illegally smuggled chicken for years, because they recognize the dangers of consuming chicken that can be contracted via contamination, or spoiled chicken can cause several symptoms within 72 hours of exposure and can last for 4 to 7 days, necessitating hospitalization in some cases. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Stick around, we've got more news for you after the break.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop price smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Here's what's happening on Waterloo Street at John Lewis Styles during the month of June. Shop for Father's Day and you could win an all-inclusive trip for two to Arrow Point Nature Resort. Buy any men's suit and get a free tie, or buy any men's pair of shoes and get a free pair of socks. Traveling this summer? Buy any luggage set and get a free travel pouch. Visit us on Waterloo Street for more choices and better prices. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Tastes so good. It's gotta be made with Alabama Baker wheat flour. Produced from quality soft winter wheat and quality enzymes to give a superior product that's guaranteed to be luscious, delightful to taste, and stays fresher longer. Alabama Baker wheat flour is perfect for breads, roti, puri, pastries, chow mein, pastas, and many other delights. Imported and distributed by Alabama Trading. 6566 Robb Street, Borda, and 23 Lombard Street. Telephone 225-5800.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Yesterday afternoon, ranks of the Guyana Police Force went to the residence of a couple at Ferry Street, New Amsterdam, Berbice, where they conducted a search and found several grams of cannabis. The search was conducted sometime between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. During the search, police discovered a bag containing 39 grams of suspected cannabis. A further search carried out in a room at the back of the building unearthed another 1,089 grams of suspected cannabis concealed under a chair. Both occupants, the 30-year-old male and 27-year-old female, were arrested and placed into custody, and the suspected cannabis were weighed and lodged. Charges are pending. In this report, Esther Sobers tells us that the family of Peter Headley is seeking answers surrounding the circumstances that led to him being fatally shot by an officer of the law. Here's more.
We want them to be charged for murder.
It has been almost a month since an officer of the Guyana Police Force shot and killed Peter Headley. His alleged perpetrator, however, has yet to stand trial. The slain man's family is demanding justice, claiming that Headley was not a criminal and that at the time of his death he had more than $2 million in his possession, which he had collected as outstanding payments from his clients.
And they told us that they are doing a thorough investigation, and it's actually a month now And Minister Roxanne and the commander of police assured us and promised us that they are doing a thorough investigation and that they promise us that the matter will be dealt with thoroughly and we will have justice. And so far, we have not seen anything, nothing is coming up. We want to know what is really happening because he was brutally murdered and we're not getting any evidence.
According to police, Headley was shot on Saturday, May 15th by one of the two ranks while being transported to the Providence police station in an automobile with number plate PVV 1771. He was arrested along with another man who was allegedly involved in a robbery in Hurstelling several days before the shooting.
Drove him somewhere and then he was made to understand he was killed. And he was accused of armed robbery. He was never been accused of that before. All those years I've known my cousin, I've never heard that name. He was accused that he went to some robbery, which that is a total lie. He was never even been locked up in this country. And so far we haven't heard anything. We want to know what is happening.
The Headley family has staged several protests at Coffee Square in hopes of drawing attention to the issue and the police officer charged and arrested.
All we need is justice for this matter. He doesn't deserve this kind of death and this kind of thing that is happening. There's no justice towards the matter. He doesn't deserve it. He's not the type of person. He doesn't deserve it. We need justice. That's how we want justice. Because if it was the other way around, the matter would have been dealt with.
For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The Minister of Home Affairs, Robertson Ben, says the ministry has identified the Durban Park area as a site for the relocation of the Guyana Fire Service Central Fire Station. Minister Ben said, quote, "The location is supposed to be specified, but it is supposed to be at Durban Park in the vicinity. We expect that, as was said, that the response time would be better. We expect that there would be more room to properly house, maintain, and deploy the assets from out there." End of quote. The Guyana Fire Service headquarters is currently in the congested Stabroek area, which slows the response time. While the preliminary design for the fire station is complete, Minister Ben said no sum was specified for its construction. The budget 2021 saw some $1.9 billion earmarked to enhance the capacity of the fire service. This accounts for the relocation of the Central Fire Station, the construction of a new fire station at Eccles and East Bank of the Marara, and the purchase of 6 water tenders and 2 ambulances. Don't go away. After the break, we have your regional and international news.
Problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
For decades, milk has remained the same, until now. Introducing the Great Dairy Full Cream Milk from Alabama Trading. Enriched with vitamins A to D and calcium to promote healthy teeth, strong bones, and vitality. Great Dairy Milk is delicious and fortified to encourage healthy cell growth within the body. No wonder it's the #1 brand of milk produced in Ireland. Now available nationwide in 400-gram packages at leading supermarkets and wholesale vendors. Distributed by Alabama Trading.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop Through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop price smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Here's what's happening on Waterloo Street at John Lewis Styles during the month of June. Shop for Father's Day and you could win an all-inclusive trip for two to Arrow Point Nature Resort. Buy any men's suit and get a free tie, or buy any men's pair of shoes and get a free pair of socks. Traveling this summer? Buy any luggage set and get a free travel pouch. Visit us on Waterloo Street for more choices and better prices. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. After a violent mob attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, the Biden administration made what is called domestic terrorism a top priority. Intelligence reports still says white supremacy was a key driver of domestic terrorism in the U.S. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher reports.
After a violent mob attacked the US Capitol on January the 6th, the Biden administration made so-called domestic terrorism a top priority. Resources in FBI field offices have been moved, more federal lawyers employed to prosecute cases. Attorney General Merrick Garland says it's the biggest threat facing America.
In the FBI's view, the top domestic violent extremist threat comes from racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocated for the superiority of the white race.
In a statement, President Joe Biden said domestic terrorism caused by hatred, prejudice, and other extremism is a stain on the American soul. It goes against everything our country strives for. Garland was the federal prosecutor in the Oklahoma bombing, the biggest case of domestic terrorism in US history. 168 people died. That was in 1995. In recent years, the number of attacks has increased. From the targeting of members of Congress by a left-wing gunman at a baseball game, the shooting at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando where 49 people died, and the car attack on anti-fascist protesters in Charlottesville in Virginia, which killed a young woman. Now the FBI plans to increase intelligence sharing, work with tech companies to eliminate content that could incite extremism, and work across government to identify and root out potential attackers or supporters, even in military and law enforcement.
The national strategy is designed to coordinate and provide a principled path for the federal government's efforts to counter the heightened domestic terrorism threat using all available tools.
The Trump White House was often reluctant even to acknowledge the issue of domestic terrorism, often comparing the threat from right-wing extremists to that of Black Lives Matter protests and Antifa, the anti-fascist group, even though intelligence reports said that white supremacy was a key driver of domestic terrorism. This plan acknowledges the elevated threat and asks Congress to find $100 million to help fight it. The Justice Department, led by Garland, is evaluating whether to ask Congress to pass a specific law addressing what it regards as domestic terrorism. They currently don't exist. Many lawmakers believe existing laws are enough. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, the White House.
And internationally, the suicide of a young man in Indian-administered Kashmir has highlighted the struggles of families accused of dissent as hundreds of people have their salaries frozen. Al Jazeera's Laura Borden-Manley reports.
It's heartbreaking for any parent. Bashir Ahmed Mir's son had a seemingly bright future, pursuing a master's degree in psychology. But 2 weeks ago, he ended his life. Inside his home in Kulgam in Indian-administered Kashmir, Bashir Ahmed Mir shows Al Jazeera police statements that accuse him of being a rebel against the Indian government. Before his death, Shoaib Bashir Mir stated in this video that the government punished his father by withdrawing his teaching salary for more than 2 years, effectively forcing him into poverty.
My son took this extreme step because we were in debt. We had taken out a loan from the bank and borrowed money from people, around $11,000. My son would often ask me about the money. He would always worry about how we were going to survive. How will he pay his college fees?
Shoaib Bashir Mir's death had an immediate impact in the region. The government released hundreds of wages that were withheld from state employees, many of whom were accused of having links to rebels. But it has ordered a special task force to investigate those who've been accused of dissent. It's part of a crackdown by India's government after it scrapped the Muslim-majority region's special status nearly 2 years ago.
Without giving them a chance of being heard, they immediately terminate their services, which is unfair and against the basic principles of natural justice as well as right to equality and right to life, because right to life includes right to livelihood as well.
Idris Jan had been teaching for 15 years when he was handed a dismissal notice last month. The father of 3 said he'd attended mass protests in 2016 against the killing of a Kashmiri rebel leader when he was arrested and detained.
I got a call informing me that our house had been cordoned off by the Indian Army, who were looking for me. Later, the police then asked me to open an envelope. It contained my dismissal order. It was written that I am a threat to state security and involved in anti-national activities. The order left me stunned.
Jan says this move is designed to silence opponents. But he insists he will fight the decision in court and attempt to shape a future where his children are not afraid to speak up. Laura Bowden-Manley, Al Jazeera.
And finally, more than 350,000 people had to flee their homes in Mali in 2020. According to the Norwegian Refugee Council, the aid agency says a humanitarian catastrophe is unfolding in the area out of their reach. Al Jazeera's Nicholas Hay reports.
An act of defiance and freedom. Smoking was something armed groups wouldn't allow him to do. After being caught bad-mouthing fighters of the armed group Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam wal-Muslimin, an affiliate of Al-Qaeda, Hassan Diko was abducted. He was given a choice, join the fight or be killed. He escaped last week, finding his way to this slaughterhouse on the outskirts of Bamako.
I'm so scared. Even here I'm afraid, because there are informants giving back information, and the day they'll find you, or if you go back to the village, they'll cut you up.
The Al-Qaeda affiliate controls large swaths of land in the center of the country. Schools are shut, playing football is forbidden, even listening to the radio or watching TV is banned. Girls are shrouded in black cloth and forced into marriage, including Hassan's wife, who's now being held captive. In the last year, the Norwegian Refugee Council says more than 350,000 people fled the region. Aid agencies say a humanitarian catastrophe is unfolding in areas out of their reach.
The crisis is not only a security crisis, it is also a humanitarian crisis, development crisis, political crisis, etc. So the solution should be holistic. It should go beyond military focus, which has not so far, I insist, it has not resulted in more security for people.
Mali's military junta took power last week in a second coup in 9 months, saying they can do what a civilian government can't, and that's restore state authority. None of the people that we met in this makeshift camp want to return home despite assurances from the UN peacekeeping mission, the French forces, and the Malian state. They say they're being killed not just by armed groups, but also by the Malian army. Hassan's father was reading the Quran with a group of men at a wedding ceremony when Malian security forces started shooting, killing him.
Until there is dialogue between the armed groups and the Malian army, I feel like nothing will change. Malians will continue to die.
Last December, UN investigators told the UN Security Council that they suspect Malian defense and security forces of committing war crimes, killing those they are meant to protect. With armed groups too intensifying attacks, this has left Hassan wondering who to trust and whether there can be any peace in Mali anytime soon. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera, Bamako.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Thursday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, stay safe and take care.